This is why I would trust Donkey with my life. When Donkey decided to create his own video game publishing company, Big Mode, I couldn't understand why there were skeptics. I've been watching this guy review games for years, and if there's one person who understands video gaming, it's Donkey. This guy's played everything under the sun, so when he gives the approval, I listen. He knows better than anyone what real good gameplay is.
It's like Halo 2 meets Halo 3.
Oh, that's like Halo 5.
So when Big Mode announced Animal Well as their first release, I put that game on my wish list in an instant. Now I know what you're gonna say. The dick riding is crazy, stop glazing, bro. I'm not.
Stop.
I don't even necessarily agree with every take Donkey's ever given. Sometimes I think he's flat out wrong when it comes to some games. But I know for a fact that this man understands gameplay. And Animal well, I mean, it's not exactly a AAA story game. The whole game is raw gameplay. You play as this little turd ball who blossoms out of a flower in a dark room. To start, the atmosphere in this game is amazing. It's got old school CRT scanlines with pixelated graphics combined with dark, ominous environments. There's plenty of animals running around that you're unsure which ones are your friends and which ones want to eat you. The game also has this bright neon color scheme with dynamic lighting. Top it off with a curious soundtrack and ambiance filled with sounds of brush moving and little animal noises, and I am fully immersed and, quite frankly, kind of scared. I mean, you play as this tiny little piece of dog kibble traversing through a cave system where a vast ecosystem of animals live. Who knows what kind of predators are out there to get me? The game plays like a Metroidvania in the sense that you can explore anywhere and unveil a vast map connecting all the different screens in the game. But you're limited on where to go until you find certain items you can use to progress. The way I see it, it's kind of like if Hollow Knight and Rain World had a child. Exiting the tutorial area, we come to this big open chamber in the center of the map with 4 giant statues. A dog, an ostrich, a chameleon, and a seahorse. These 4 animals make up the 4 main objectives in the game, gathering the 4 flames. So without an inkling of where to go, I wandered off to find the flames. My adventure led me to the 4 corners of the map where I solved puzzles to progress, gathered useful items, and had showdowns with the 4 predators of the well, depicted in these statues. The items in this game and how you use them in different ways to solve puzzles is what made this game incredible to me. The first item you get is the firecrackers that you collect from these plants to distract or wipe out enemies. Then I found the yo-yo, which was used to reach buttons around corners or guide animals you're riding, or change the direction of moving platforms by luring animals to change direction in their hamster wheels. Then I found the slinky, which literally just falls and slinkies down the terrain. But the game gives you interesting puzzles where you have to drop the slinky down some stairs onto buttons, and then you need to precisely platform using the timings of the slinky hitting the buttons on the stairs.
It's fucking brilliant!
I found this bubble wand that allows you to blow a bubble and jump onto it to reach higher ledges. Then I found this frisbee which can distract these dogs, but also hit buttons through slim gaps, flick levers, and you can even ride on top of the frisbee and fly across gaps. And some puzzles even require using all these items at the same time. Like, check this out. There's this pit, and if you fall down it, it drops you into water and spawns you back up top. But as you're falling, there's this lever in the thin gap in the wall here. Jumping down and trying to hit that gap with the frisbee to flick the lever is impossible. But if you jump on a bubble, you can slowly ride the bubble downwards to precisely hit the lever with the frisbee, and then safely float down to the bottom where you can jump before hitting the water, taking you to a new area. The puzzles are amazing and so well designed with such creative and unique items. The magic of Animal Well is in its puzzle solving and its secrets. So I'm not going to break down the entire game, but let's talk about the showdowns with the quote-unquote bosses. The iguana's first encounter drops you into this room where the iguana will start trying to eat you. To proceed, you want to move fast and press all the buttons to open the door while avoiding the lunging tongue of the reptile. Later on, we meet the iguana again in the single platform arena. The goal here is to again avoid the tongue, but also make him eat these prickly porcupine fellas that will hurt him. He will also spit projectiles at you after a few tongue swipes, but after eating all the porcupines, the iguana will retreat and you can collect the first flame. The seahorse was next, and his first encounter was him spraying water at you to push you off the ledge while you try to use his bubbles to climb out of the top left of the arena. Doing so rewards you with the bubble wand. When we meet the seahorse again, your goal is to use these cranks to angle these platforms to bounce the seahorse's water spray into these dishes, which will unlock the escape, leading you to the next flame. The ostrich's first encounter is one of the more frantic ones. This long-legged bird runs at you and pecks at you, so you're forced to dive into these holes where you'll find multiple buttons to unlock the door. But while you're in the floor, the ostrich will stick its head in the ground and try to kill you. So you're literally pressed up against the wall, hoping the ostrich will run out of neck. And then when he pulls his head back out of the ground, you have to dash out of the hole and dive into the next little burrow. Once all the buttons are pushed, you can escape out the door. In the second encounter though, the ostrich is trapped in this hamster wheel. After using the ostrich's desire to kill you to change his direction, which also happens to change the way these platforms move, you eventually push all these buttons, which detaches the ostrich's wheel from the wall. The ostrich will then chase after you in its wheel as you run away until you drop him into this pit that opens the door to the third flame. And finally, the dog is by far the scariest of all the encounters. When you enter the dog area, the disc item is waiting for you in the shrine. But grabbing the item spawns the ghostly demon-looking dog who, much like the ghost in Spelunky, endlessly follows you throughout the well trying to kill you. So what you must do is find the mock disc, which allows you to take the actual disc item and replace it with the mock disc, keeping the dog from chasing after you and allowing you to use the disc item in this area. But the second encounter is where this game really pumps up the adrenaline. After snaking back and forth throughout the entire area, the final room holds a second dog shrine called the mock disc shrine. It took me a second to figure this one out, but when it clicked, I was shocked. You need to remove the mock disc from the original first shrine, and while the ghost dog is chasing you, carry it all the way throughout the entire area and place it in the mock disc shrine without dying. However, in my cleverness, I decided to grab the mock disc and head out of the area to the egg chamber where the fast travel hub is. In the dog area, I had unlocked a fast travel point about 75% through the area. So instead of running all that way with the dog chasing me, I fast traveled into the hub room, which is actually at the bottom of the map, and after waiting for the dog to come all the way down there, I teleported into the dog area to give myself some time to comfortably reach the mock disc shrine. I say comfortably, but it still took me about 5 tries to do it. Now I had all 4 flames. Placing all the flames into the statues in the center chamber opens up the floor to a new hidden area where everything starts to get even more dark and threatening. In this area, there's a deep red and black ambiance with silhouetted monkeys that climb around and punch at you. They've got red dots for eyes and make this really creepy sound of someone breathing in when they see you. It's so unsettling. This area makes you really uncomfortable as you're put into all this danger while at the same time trying to complete all the puzzles. While it was stressful, it was an amazing lead up for what was to come. Completing this area's puzzles rewards you with the lantern. The lantern allows you to cast away this shadowy mist that previously would hurt you, and at the very bottom of this area is a cave entirely covered in mist. At the end of this cave lies a chamber that holds the final showdown. The music completely cuts out when you enter this chamber, leaving you with only your footsteps. When I entered the room, it seems like there was one last door puzzle in my way that I needed to complete. But then... the Manticore. This final showdown has this extremely creepy beast with giant unsettling laser eyes. That breath sound when he spawned in creeped me out so much before the dramatic music came in, causing me to panic before this guy starts killing you with his laser eyes. The amount of panic this guy caused me was insane. All my platforming skills were thrown out the window and I died over and over again. But after examining my surroundings, there seemed to be a lot of firecracker plants in this area. And sure enough, firecrackers make this guy scared. Even if it's only for a couple seconds, the firecracker distraction stops the Manticore from attacking you with its laser eyes and gave me enough time to hit all the buttons. This last puzzle forces you to use everything you've learned throughout the playthrough. Every item is on display to open the door to the final chamber, where this happens. In a beautiful display of fireworks, the Manticore is killed. And then, the credits roll. What a lovely little game. Super short and to the point and incredibly atmospheric. I walked away satisfied, having overcome every single thing this game had to offer. Sure, I still hadn't collected all the eggs, but they were just collectibles. Why would I bother doing that? For a silly Steam achievement? Surely the eggs didn't open up an alternative ending that allows you to enter the Manticore's mouth to teleport outside of the well. There's no way that these eggs give you extra items that allow you to open up an entirely separate collectible hunt for rabbits and secret codec that by using this poster leads you to a time capsule Easter egg with personal voice lines from the developer and Donkey, right?